Well, good morning. Start of another week. I'm just coming across the Chesapeake Bay Bridge on 50, and I will also be going across the bridge tunnel combination that's down in, I guess that's Virginia, Southern Virginia, or Virginia, southern point of the eastern shore. Because I won't come back across this way. I'll head that way to get to eventually 95, because I am headed to Florida. Headed to pick up a 71 Chevelle fiberglass race car. I haven't seen pictures of it. Talked to the guy who sold it on Saturday. Kind of set up a time, 8 o'clock, 8:30 this morning to pick it up. And says it runs fine. It needs some work, but he says it runs fine. He can load it. He said he's more than happy to help me load it, which is good. Some things like that, you know. So if I was hauling on my open trailer and I had a person's Mercedes, whatever, or their truck, I would never let them load their own vehicle on my trailer. But when it comes to some of these like race cars and stuff, it's like better to have somebody who knows, especially if it has like weird quirks or problems, to let them load it. Like the red fiberglass Corvette Roadster that I loaded, the builder loaded that. He was more than happy. I mean, it's got a 632 cubic inch motor in it, so one tap of the throttle could be catastrophic. So he loaded that, and then this guy said he would be more than happy to load it and get it up in there. We could push it forward the rest of the way or whatever. But it's not something I would suggest you doing on like regular vehicles. Obviously there's a bunch of liability there, and like even letting people get on your trailer if you have like a car trailer or whatever, it's just risky. You just never know nowadays what people would do or say or try to come after you for. But you know, situations like this, it's like what's the safest way for this vehicle to get in the trailer? And sometimes it's just winching it. But some of these race cars are hard to winch because they have like a low front splitter, and if they don't have like an attach point, like a tie down on the front, it's hard to winch in. So anyways, so he said 8 o'clock, 8:30 he'd be there, and he'd help me get it in there, so I should be out of there by 9, and then we'll head down to Florida. We should be down there tomorrow morning. Going to Dade City. And then I've got a pickup already scheduled in it's on the East Coast. I think it's Stuart, Florida, I think is where that is. And that's just a Mini Cooper that they want to transport enclosed. So I've got room. I'm looking for a bike or something like that to fill the rest of the trailer. I had been talking to a guy about a bike coming out of that same area, real close to there. And he was a little wishy-washy. He was really price shopping, and I just told him what my price could be and what I would do it for. And he kind of didn't really jump on it, which it was a very fair price. Like, I don't think he would get the level of service I could provide for any better of a price, because it's just a partial for me. And I get somebody that's going to try to get full rate for it, but that's on him. I'm still going to give things a little time to heat up this morning on the boards, and really try to find a bike, a four-wheeler, a lawnmower, or anything to fill the rest of the trailer. Remember I delivered that brewery equipment not too long ago from Florida? He had another piece, excuse me, coming out of North Carolina, but it's a small piece, but I don't think we could logistically get it in the enclosed and get it out, because it's going to probably need a forklift, and obviously the rear gate on an enclosed can't handle a forklift, and it's only like 800 pounds, so I figured we maybe could lay it down and put it on dollies, but I was like, that might be too much work for not as much as what I would want for the work. So that guy reached out and asked if I'd be interested, and I told him, like, let me think about it, because I won't have my open trailer. If I had my flatbed, it'd be like a no-brainer, because I could still fit 2 cars and more with that one piece. It's small. So that's that. We'll get down here on 50, run 50 down to Easton, Maryland, which I was just here on Saturday, which is funny because it's like I've been coming down to the Eastern Shore for like everything here recently. There's DOT sitting there, nice and early this morning. I've been seeing a lot more DOT and a bunch of these unmarked vehicles. He's there in an F-250, black F-250, sitting there on the on-ramp, just waiting to pull somebody over, I guess. Got the small enclosed behind me, so I'm not really much of a target. Especially with this truck, I look like Harry Homeowner doing anything. Get down here and get this thing picked up, try to snap a couple pictures of it. The receiver, she is out of town, but her dad is going to be there, which I was like, oh, a lady's buying this. I'm not sure what's... It's a little different, but she said she would call me with a credit card, so I'm going to try and get her payment today, because she's not going to be there, and I'm going to deliver early tomorrow morning. I don't want to... Unfortunately, this day and age, I don't know these people that at all, and I just want to make sure there's no problem. So we'll run her credit card today after we get it picked up, send her all the proof, and because that takes a little while to process. Make sure that's all good, it's going through, so we can just get down there tomorrow morning and deliver as soon as we get there without any delay. Okay, now I'm gonna tell you a story. This might be a little long-winded, but it's a good story about this car that I'm hauling. So I picked this car up in Maryland. I'm taking it to Florida. Okay, I get there and I'm like, wow, that car is that's just period correct from the 70s. So the story goes, the guy I picked it up from was at a car show or an event, a race event, and came across this car sitting out with a for sale sign on it. And he drove by and was like, man, that is all original, like, all those paint and the pinstripe and all that, that is like, somebody knew what they were doing. And these guys that I picked it up from, he's in the paint and sign and pinstripe and gold leaf and all that business. So he knew that was good work. So anyways, they go back and forth. He didn't really, he said, I don't need it. You know, I don't want to spend the money on something I don't need. It's cool, but whatever. So he's like, well, I'll shoot the guy an offer and see what he says. So he doesn't leave there that day with it. A week later, the guy comes back and was like, if your offer is serious, I'll take it. And he bought the car. So when he got the car, he could see an outline on the paint from some type of like decal lettering. And it said Joe's Sunoco. It had the name of the car, what they called it. And then it had like the guys who wrenched on it and everything, like in the, like as a drag car, like so he could make out some of this information. And he started doing some research. Well, come to find out, he's He's like, I got Joe, it came from Jersey, and there's a famous drag racer from Jersey. He's like, maybe it's him, wasn't him. So he kind of just dug in, did some research, was looking for the car on pictures and this and that. Well, he finally comes up with a last name. He's able to use that last name to track down the son of the owner in Florida. He reaches out to him and was like, hey, the guy owns a law firm. So he got a hold of the front desk lady and was like, this isn't like a professional call, it's personal. Can you leave a message for so-and-so? This is kind of what I got. So the guy called him back like 10 minutes later and was like, do you think you have my dad's car? And he goes, I have your dad's car. I didn't call you to try to sell it to you and make a bunch of money. I just thought that the story that you would want to know. So the story of the car is the guy's dad owned it in the 70s, brand new, took it, put a straight axle in it, put slicks on it, made it into a drag car. Put a cage in it, painted it, different motor, this, that, full out drag car, the brand new car. So life goes on, sold the car. The car sat in a, like, not a barn, but in a storage in a barn for like 50 years. It had sat there. And they finally got it out, and that's when the guy saw it for sale and came up, put the pieces together, contacted that guy and was like, you know, I don't necessarily want to sell it. I'll sell it to you, you know, for what I paid for it, just because. And he goes, well, my dad is still alive. He goes, I think I'm gonna, you know, surprise him with it. So they come up to Maryland. They're in Florida. They come up to Maryland, and he tells his dad, hey, you know, we got some time to kill. There's this little car thing going on, a bunch of old hot rods and stuff. Let's go check them out. I know you like that kind of stuff. Let's go check them out. Well, they had this kind of car show going on. They had a professional film crew there that was documenting the car show. Well, the film crew was there to get his reaction, the dad's reaction, whose car it was. So they got his attention redirected. The car's behind him, under cover in the back of the shop. They uncover it, continue the conversation. He turns around in conversation, and there is his car sitting after 50 years of not seeing it. His drag car in the same condition that he remembers it in. And his son had bought it for him. They said, the guy said it was like one of the most emotional things he's ever seen, which is an awesome story. And I have the opportunity to, I'm taking it down to the original owner after all these years. The guy who sold it, he's got this whole packet on it, the whole story of the car, and just kind of, he ended up putting back all the original, like the Joe Sunoco, the crew members, the name of the car, and some other stuff from some period correct pictures he ended up getting from the family, and it's just the way it was. So it's a cool story. It's like, this is the stuff I like doing, because it's like the look on his face when that's finally back in his garage, and it's a great story. It's heartwarming, and the fact that this guy put in the effort to find them and just be like, hey, I just want to know you, let you know I have this car, and I want you to be able to tell your dad that it's still around. And thankfully his dad's still alive, and he gets to, you know, have his car back that he owned. You know, I guess you'd be going on 54 years from the time that car was new. What a beautiful car, man. Just the paintwork alone. Obviously these are fiberglass doors, so there is some cracking in the fiberglass. This is all hand painted. These are the guys who originally worked on the car. Guy who did the machine work. Company who originally painted. And Jersey Joe, the driver of this Chevelle. He owned Joe Sunoco. And I think he was 21 years old when he built this thing. It's been stored. I mean, this is the original paintwork. Like, you just do not see anything like this. I mean, look at the cage that was put in this thing 50 years ago. They got foam pads that are harder than a rock, duct tape that's barely alive, got an aluminum dash in it, everything's painted up, everything's lettered up, and in about an hour and a half it'll be back to its original owner. So we are going to check our straps one more time. We're going to keep rolling. Well, we have made it to Dade City, Florida. Right on the golf course. It says no outlet, but GPS says go this way. Nice little gated community on a golf course. Got these retirement style homes all packed in here. That guy must have done well in life. He's got a C8 Corvette. Or just lives somewhere else and is avoiding taxes. But hey, what do I know? So we'll get this car unloaded. Got some pretty good damage from the storms down here. Bunch of trees down and buildings, roofs knocked off, and billboards knocked over. Oh, look at this dog on the back of this golf cart here. When I die, I want to come back as that dog. That looks like my kind of time. Well, good thing I got the small trailer, because it is tight back through here. Well, let's see if I can't get this thing fired up. Maybe get the camera, take the camera in the car with me. She's loud, and it's a little. As of now, it's a little finicky. The shifter is funny, and what else? No neutral safety switch. I forget what else he said, but I have to make sure we don't run it through the front of the trailer trying to get it out of there. So, may or may not take the camera if I'm trying to concentrate on what I'm doing instead of what kind of shot I'm getting. I turn right here and he should be right on the way.